Islamic greetings, Moors. This is part 2 of Pardon the Interjection. Today's topic is a nation beguiled. A nation beguiled, pardon me. I'm your host, Supreme L. And we continue. A source in the Deutsche Bank claims that in 2008, our financial and monetary system completely collapsed, and since that time, the banking cartels have been propping up the system to make it appear as if everything was fine. In reality, our stock market and monetary systems are fake, meaning that there is nothing holding them in place except for the illusion that they have stabilized since the market crashed nearly 5 to 6 years ago. Pardon the interjection, but this is what we do here. That collapse and bankruptcy is not ours, not the nationals, not the national Moorish Americans, not the true Americans, not the copper tone penny testers, indigenous aboriginals of the North Gate, i.e. Northwest of Mexam, i.e. Almagrid Elixir, i.e. North America. And we continue. Since this time, the Department of Homeland Security, DHS, in conjunction with FEMA and other federal agencies, have been quickly working to set in place their directives of control under a silent martial law. The Deutsche Bank informant says that the cause for the bailout of the bank was a large sum of cash needed quickly to repay China, who had purchased large quantities of mortgage-backed securities that went belly up when the global scam was realized. When China realized that they had been duped into buying worthless securitized loans which would never be repaid, they demanded the actual property instead. Pardon me. When China realized that they had been duped into buying worthless securitized loans which would never be repaid, they demanded the actual property instead. The Chinese were prepared to send their people to American shores to seize property as allocated to them through the securitized loans contracts. So China was coming over here, pardon the interjection, to come and get that property that the so-called USA company swindled them out of. The Chinese are our brothers and our sisters. They are Asiatic too. They're our brothers. Love and respect to what the honorable, true honorable, noble Prophet Drew Ali said. Our brothers from the East will be coming to help us. What color is our flag? Red and green. Red background with the 5-pointed green star, the cherry tree. Who's the color of China's flag? Pardon the interjection, and we continue. To stave this off, the American taxpayers were coerced by former President Bush and former U.S. Treasury Secretary Hank Paulson. During that incident, the U.S. Senate was told empathetically that they had to approve a $700 million bailout or else martial law would be implemented immediately. That money was funneled through the Federal Reserve Bank and wired to China, as well as other countries that were demanding repayment for the fraudulent securitizations. To further avert financial catastrophe, as well as more debt or property seizure threats by the Chinese, the euro was imploded, thereby plunging most of the European countries into an insurmountable freefall for which they were never intended to recover. All the money that those banks claimed they needed to avert collapse was also sent to the Chinese to add to the trillions of dollars lost during the burst of the housing bubble on the global market. The only saving grace has been the U.S. dollar being the global reserve currency. However, now this prop is showing signs of wear as foreign nations like China, Russia, India, and Iran are dealing in gold as currency and purchasing gold on the market at an exponential rate. Pardon the interjection. Let's go back on that one again. The only saving grace has been the U.S. dollar, which is a note, is not a coin. Gold and silver coins are dollars, being the global reserve currency. However, now this prop is showing signs of wear as foreign nations like China, Russia, India, and Iran are dealing in gold as currency and purchasing gold on the market at an exponential rate. In 1970, Henry Kissinger made a deal with the Saudi Arabian government that American debt would be purchased in exchange for cheap oil. Since then, Iran has taken control over the Organization of the Petroleum Exporting Countries, OPEC, by their use of gold as currency, which has threatened the direct value of the U.S. dollar as the global reserve currency. This scenario with Iran coupled with the massive leaps forward into U.S. military presence on American streets and the emergence of FEMA camps across the nation pose an obvious turn of events and explains exactly why we are witnessing the silent implementation of a martial law.